Hi all, this is Dominic and welcome to my first unguided project presentation. And this project is given by the Code Basics Resume Project Challenge. And first of all, I would like to say thank you to Mr. Dawul and Hemanand because both of them doing amazing jobs. As part of the because of their motivations, I am here to present my first unguided presentation because they are motivating the people to do the video presentation as well as the online credibility things. And Um, today we are going to be analyze the electric vehicle analysis like the Atlic Motors. Atlic Motors is one of the giant automotive manufacturers. They are decided to start the plant in India. That's why they wanted to be analyze what's the current market situation and the market trend. That type of the things they wanted to be analyzed before we step into the before they step into the inaugurate the plant. Before we deep into the project, let's look the problem statement of Atlic. Problem statement in Atlic, because the problem statement is very important for all the projects as well as whenever we understand the problem statement, then only we can able to be derive the solutions. That's why the problem statement is also important. Understanding the problem statement is also rather that much of important. Atlic Motors is the automotive giant industry from USA specific industry. The electric vehicles, they are manufacturing electric vehicles in last 5 years. Their market share is rose 25% in electric as well as the hybrid electric vehicle segments in North America. As part of their expansion plans, they wanted to be launch the best-selling models in India. There, the market share is less than 2%. That's why the company senior executive Bruce Ayali wanted to be a detailed market study for the existing EV hybrid market in India before proceeding further. Because whenever we step into any new project as or a new any new products or the new plant, whatever things we getting to do to the new, which means at the time we get to be analyze the total things. What's the current situation? What the current trend? And what are the things we get to be improvise and which of the things we get to be more concentrate and that these things are very important when we start the new business. That's why the Bruce gave this task to the data analyst team of Atlic Motors as in the Peter Pandey is the data analyst working for this team. And here at the depend up the project, I am the Peter Pandey. I am the data analyst, and this project is made upon me. Okay, let's start the analysis and deep dive into the project. Know what are the things we are going to discuss. Because, for example, if any industry or if any things, whatever the things we are starting, which means the automobile industry, a lot of the things are there, which means there are a lot of manufacturers are there and the manufacturers already they have some sales made themselves in the market. Then in the manufacturer analysis we will say the EV sales around 2.07 million revenue by EV RV, which means revenue by EV, which means electric vehicle. And then revenue, how much the revenue generated, 392.03 billion, as well as the CAGR, compound annual growth rate, is 93.91%, because depend upon the compound annual growth rate whether the business in a negative direction or else it's a negative or positive direction. That's why we can able to be easily identify with the CAGR. And then here EV sold by market share, which means how much EVs are sold and which manufacturers EVs are dominating the market. That's what that graph, that scatter plot is saying. But here we can able to be see all the things like the manufacturer, vehicle category, and fiscal year. For example, if we click the 2022, there is a 0.27 million sales are happen, and that much of the EV vehicles we gained the revenue 49.33 billion. Okay, in 2023, the growth EV sales is increased around 185.96% increased, and the revenue also increased around 169.73. Here's a in 2022, Hero Electric is dominating the market. Depend upon the electric vehicle sales because that much of the electric vehicles are sales from Hero Electric. Around the market share is 25.61. But in 2023, Ola Electric is captures the first place. See, there is a 19.68. The EV sold rate is that much of high. See, that's the difference between whenever the years are different, the marketplace and the market capture things also different because depend upon the market demand and the customer. Because the customers even some customers are wants that manufactured, some customers are that wants another brand. It's a thing. So things are just constantly change. And here revenue and the market share by the manufacturer. Revenue, which means how much they generating revenue. In 2022, Tata Motors grabbing the first place and the market share is around 38.64. In 2023, again Tata Motors captures the first place. But when comes under the vehicle category two-wheeler, which means that thing's gonna be changed. See, there is a Ola Electric 12.97 billion and the market share is 20.96 because the two-wheeler and the four-wheeler these categories are different and that revenues and how much they are earning the revenue that things are also different depend upon the categories. These are the top three makers by EV sales and bottom three makers. Top three, of course, Tata Motors, second Mahindra and Mahindra, and MG Motors. Top bottom three, which means the PC Automobiles and the Volvo Auto India and the Mercedes Benz. I think as per our Indian conditions, these are the very luxury brands as well as the most of the peoples are not because in our India there's a lot of upper middle class and lower middle class peoples are there. That's why the peoples are not concentrate and not buy that type of the brands because the Tata, Mahindra and Mahindra, MG Motor is apart from my MG Motors, Tata Motors and Mahindra and Mahindra sales is very high in our market situation. Top 5 manufacturer by EV sales and the CAGR. Top 5 manufacturer, which means which manufacturer EV sales in high volume and the CAGR. CAGR is nothing but the compound annual growth rate because the compound annual growth rate depend upon the compound annual growth rate we are maybe get the maybe able to analyze the things whether it's in a we are moving in a direction in a positive or a negative. So you may arise the question like Tata Motors are holding the that much of holding the first place and why the CAGR rate is that much of low because there is some reasons because when Tata Motors are starting their units because start whenever the Tata Motors starting their product and the sales whenever the Tata Motors starts the sales their sales in a high they're starting their sales in a high rate that's why the CAGR is low that sales in a high volume because they are already started their sales in a high volume that's why the CAGR is low but some companies there is a high CAGR but low in sales volume that's why the another brands like the BY, let's take the example of BYD India. That sales is too much of low, but the CAGR is too much of high. That's the inverse things. It's already start in a high sales volume. That's why the CAGR is low. But here the BYD India is starts their sales very low. Not very low. Depend upon the previous sales only the CAGR is calculated. They are starting their sales as much of the at the very least level very maybe the one or two that much of the level they started their sales which means that's why if that sales increases gradually at that time that CAGR is rate is grows so it's a totally the manufacturer level analysis and the end of the manufacturer level analysis the Tata Motors is holding the first place in a four-wheeler category and the two-wheeler category the Ola Electric holds the first place as per the 2024 situation, 2024 physical year situation. sales, which means as a one and only EV sales, how much the EV sales, and the penetration rate, which means it is nothing but, for example, the total vehicle, the 100 vehicles are sold. For example, the 100 vehicles are sold, which means in the 100 vehicles, how much of the EV vehicles are sold. For example, if the in total 100 vehicles are sold, in the 100 vehicles, the EV vehicles are sold around 60, which means 160. There is a 60 percentage of the EV vehicles are penetrated in the total sales. It is the ratio. Okay, I hope you all get that point. That's it is the penetration rate. Okay, and then electric penetration rate and decline rate state by state. Here we are see the things Andhra Pradesh and Bihar. These some of the states. And the penetration rate is higher in Maharashtra, 6.49, and the decline rate is minus 3.08. And the decline rate is nothing but, for example, actually the decline rate is calculated in the specific period of time. The decline rate, which is nothing but, for example, in the previous year, the in 2023, let's take example 2023, which means the total vehicle sales is 19.62 and the EV sales is 0.78 million. Around the total vehicle sales 19.48% increases, and in the EV sales 185.96% increases. In the penetration rate, the EV penetration rate as well, 139.33% is increasing. Okay, this is the normal thing we are saying in a slide. But in I'll tell some example. For example, for example, in the previous year, there is a 100 of the EV vehicles are sold, right? 100 of the EV vehicles are sold in 2022. But in 2023, the sales is declined to 80. The previous year, 100 vehicles are sold, but in the 2023, it comes 80, which means it's a 20% of the decline rate. That's the decline rate. But in the it's a simple thing, but it comes under the various. It's a large volume of the market, which means it would be may vary depend upon the sales volume and the internal things, and so many of the technical things are inside that's it's changing. Okay, it's a difference between penetration rate as well as the decline rate. Next, and here top five EV sales state by the penetration rating four wheeler. For the year fiscal year 2022, four wheeler the Goa. Goa is capturing the market first place in 2024, around 28.76 share, which means it's the penetration rate, and it's just calculated these states. These are all the states. These are all the states. Goa is contributing majority. Okay, first Goa, then Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra, and then last is Delhi. See, that's the top five sales of the EV. Still with the four wheeler, it's this data is for the four wheeler, and this data is for the two wheeler, and but the both years are same. Here Goa is capturing the first place. Here Kerala is capturing the first place, and the next by Kerala, Chandigarh, Delhi, Karnataka, and Goa. It's around 24.96 percentage and 5.76 penetration rate. And then next to the Chandigarh, and then next to Delhi, and then next Karnataka, next Goa. These are the scenarios. And then EV sales by state and the penetration rate. Here the EV sales, which means how much of the EV sales per state. And then we see the penetration rate as well. In the EV sales, the Maharashtra is holding the first position, and the EV sales is around, see, around so 0.15 millions. Okay, and then Karnataka is a around zero point 0.1 million, right? These are all the things. But you may ask the question, why here the Maharashtra is the sales volume is high, but the penetration rate is little bit low compared to the Karnataka. See, what's the reason? Which means the Maharashtra state, because whenever the um, market, for example, there is take example of the Maharashtra market. In Maharashtra market, they already start with the sales no, from 100. See, some sales start from zero, some sales starts from 100. Suddenly they sales 100 vehicles. Suddenly they sales 100 vehicles, but in Karnataka it's a little bit of different. So they start with the sales from the 10 vehicles. That's the difference between the Maharashtra and Karnataka. That's why the sales starts from the high rate, and that's why the penetration rate is low, and the sales start from low rate. That's why the penetration rate is high. That's the major difference between the high sales volume, low penetration rate, low sales volume, high penetration rate. For example, let's take Goa. Goa is a minimal, very much minimal sales volume, and then it's a peak in 9.73. Here, what's the case, which means the Goa is starts the sales from zero. For example, zero, the next day two, the next day three. That's the sales. But suddenly, when the sales is come to the 20, which means suddenly the penetration rate is increasing. That's why the low sales volume has a high penetration rate. Okay, I hope you all get the point. And the next, the total sales by state and the CAGR. CAGR is nothing but compound annual growth rate. For example, whatever the business we do, for example, we may start the any coffee shop or else the burger shop or the bakery, whatever the things we take, whatever the business we take, which means at that time you have to be calculate the CAGR. The CAGR is helping for how much the growth we are gaining annually. Okay, for example, whatever the business we do, we want to be see the growth because that's the real business. And it's here it's the sales for the here it's a compound annual growth rate for the total sales. Okay, total vehicle sales. TV is nothing but total vehicle. Total vehicle is nothing but it's included both electric as well as the non-electric. See, the Gujarat is holding 1.4 million total vehicles also, and still it's now have the slow CAGR, which means the low CAGR. And then Karnataka is the same case as well as the Rajasthan. These are the states, and here is also the same scenario. Gujarat is already starts with their sales with a high volume. That's why that CAGR is in low. Low CAGR doesn't mean they are didn't grow annually like that. Internally, there is some things like the policies, taxes, and subsidies, and then so many of the things are included. And it's a general case. What I'm saying is general case. How much? I mean, the volume sales volume is high, but low CAGR. It's nothing but not the state is not growth that much of a like that we are not able to see. We are not able to be same. Okay, and that in the Mizoram, Meghalaya, it's also the high CAGR. That's why the market rate is very, very low, minimal, which means the very, very low. They start from the sales with the zero, as well as the what we actually the discussed in a previous EVs sales by state and penetration rate. That's the same thing also happening here. Okay, that's the thing, and here we can also able to be switch the manufacturer and whatever the manufacturer we want to see the data, which means we can able to be switch that things to the manufacturer. Okay, and then here the footer we are explaining the things. EV, which means the electric vehicle, and the TV is nothing but total vehicle. CAGR, compound annual growth rate, and the PTR, which means penetration rating, LY last year. EV values in a million, and the revenue values in billion. Okay, we are going to be more on next slide. Now we are going to discuss about the market level analysis. In the market level analysis and how the sales happens and how the revenue is generated and how the revenue growth percentage and then something is where some peak and low EV sales. For example, when the sales is very high and when the sales is very low, as well as what is the projected score. Actually, it's in a technical term we are saying the forecasting. Forecasting nothing but in future or else the upcoming years, how many or how much the sales quantity are sold in that particular period. These things that we are going to be discussed in this part in the market level analysis. And sorry, let's we started with the revenue growth percentage compared to the actually we have the three physical years 2022, 23 as well as 24. So we had to compare the revenue growth with 2024 because whenever actually we are in 2024 we just compare the revenue growth with the both the previous years, then we get the idea and what's the thing and what's the things are going on the revenue as well as the sales. So these are the things we are going to discuss. Let's deep dive into the analysis, market analysis. Let's start with the revenue growth percentage. On revenue growth percentage, let's take a look at the 2022 revenue growth percentage, which means 49.33 million. Okay, in 2023, 133.07 million, and 2024, 209.63 billion. Okay, these are the things. And the revenue growth percentage 2022 versus 24, 324.92 percentages growth rate compared to the year 2022. 2023 is a 57, but there is a very high percentage increases in between of the 2022 and 24. When it comes to 25, which means this percentage even get increased. This is the revenue percentage. As per the overall views, the revenue is in a positive way, as well as the sales in a very perfect way happens. And the projected EV sales by 2018. How much of the EV sales are to be sold? It's a prediction by some of the calculations we made. That's the thing. And in 2020, there is a 54.21 million vehicles of sale. Around in 2000 EV sales, in EV sales around 1.02, and in 2020 to 2030, 5,216 percentage growth we can expected. It's expected, right? But in between of the years, there is some maybe the market changes allows the plans change and the government subsidies, the taxes, credits, and then so many of the things are included and depend on the market conditions and the manufacturers, wherever the new manufacturers maybe come and lot of things are there. But it's just a prediction, whatever the data we have. Okay. And then here we just compare the things, the Karnataka and the Delhi, what's the sales volume and the penetration rate. And we just compare the two states alone, it's Delhi and Karnataka. Okay. In Delhi, 22.49 penetration rate. Sorry, 7.71 penetration rate, and the EV source is around 46.72K. I mean 46,000. And here it's a very high rate, 77 77.51 are compared to the um, Delhi. Okay, and the penetration rate is 10.18. That is the major thing compared to Delhi. This is Karnataka. Okay, and then penetration rate. See the penetration rate by 2030 is also increased by 2379.18. That much of nowadays we are using the vehicle like the traditional internal combustion engine. Actually, the internal combustion IC engine is the traditional engine, but it may create some disturbance to our nature as well as the humans. That's why the EV's dominance is very important now time, and we are the responsible for our nation as well as the world. So that's why the governments and the most of the peoples and most of the environmental awareness people should be get adapted with the EV in a very soon. Okay, because that people have the lot of responsibility, and we are also have the lot of responsibility to protect our environment. And then here, EV sales, projected EV sales in 2030 by penetration rate. Here, see, the Maharashtra is holding the first place, Kerala, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Meghalaya, West Bengal, and the EV penetration rate is low. See, I already explained you, right? In 2030, the EV penetration rate is 22 to 223.34 penetration. The previous slide we discussed, right, why the sales volume is high but the lower in the penetration rate. Yes, we already discussed in the previous slide that is it starts with the high sales volume, that's why the low penetration rate. Okay, in Kerala it's a irreversible process, and I think the in previous slide Kerala is in some out of 3 to a 4th position, and the Kerala starts with the low market low sales volume, and when it get gear up, that penetration rate is getting hiked. And these the things are happens with the Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, all the things. And then here, whenever we touch that, projected EV sales in 2080 by the state wise. Now here also the Maharashtra is holding the first place, followed by Uttar Pradesh. In Maharashtra, around 13 million, 10 million, Gujarat 8 million. These are the states in 2030. These are these are all the states holding the that much of the EV sales maybe happen in 2030. Okay, these are the things. In here, top 5 EV quarterly trend sales volume. What are the manufacturers of the top five quarterly things, which means who are all grab the positions, market position. See the quarter one, quarter two, and quarter three, quarter four. All the times the Tata Motors goes the first place, and let's see the Tata Motors in 2000 quarter one and in quarter one 7K, 10K, 13K, 17K. Actually, it's these are all for the four wheelers, right? I hope. Yes. Tata Motors is the holding first position and Mahindra and Mahindra holding second position. MG Motor followed by PC Automobiles as well as the BYD. These are all the manufacturers, but the Tata Motors hold the first and foremost place. But when the things comes under the two-wheeler vehicle category, which means the complete things are changing, and uh, in two-wheelers, which means the Ola plays the major role, I hope, and the TVS followed by the Ather, the Hero Electric, and the Ampere. Okay, this is the market share and physical year. We can able to be changing the physical year as well. We can just filter out the physical year. That things also changing. In 2022, Hero Electric is holds the first place, and the 2023 the Vola, and the followed by 2024 as well as also the Vola, because on the 2022 is the booming time. Okay, that's the difference. In the four wheeler, when the vehicle category is in the two four wheeler, which means at that time the Tata Motors hold the first place, followed by the Mahindra and Mahindra, MG Motor, PCA Automobiles, and BYD. Okay, that's the difference. How the vehicle sales are happens. Okay, as per the two wheeler as well as the four wheeler, and by the physical air category as well. And now we can able to see the peak and low EV sales for the physical year 2022, 23, 24. For 22, which means the 22 low season. Let's take the first low season, May. May, and the peak season is March 2022. So merely 1K vehicles are sold, and in March 2022, 50K, 58K, and followed by the 2023, which means the data is changing. It's gradually increasing. In May 2022 is the least sales, and the March 2023. See the values are drastically changing. In 24, the value is slightly increased, and then here is the lowest sales is June 2023 as well as the peak sales in March 2024. These are all for that market level analysis. And here also we put some photos: electric vehicle, TP for total vehicle, PCT for percentage, PTR for the penetration rate, LY for last year, EV sales in values millions, or we revenue in billion. Next we are going to be take the CG station, which means the charging station analysis, because most of the states are there, but how much of the charging stations we have? We already have that much of the vehicles, around 2 million, 2 million, nearly 2 million vehicles are EV vehicles are there, but how many charging stations are there? That's why we just draw the sum of the things. Here we draw the one scatter plot. The x-axis is full and full, based upon full and full depend the EV sales, and the y-axis is penetration rate. Just to clear all the slices, let's look. Maharashtra, the penetration rate is 6.49, and the number of charging stations is 34, as well as the EV sold rate. It's around 39,006,